a chat about a new player coming in towards a massively known team who's getting trophies, who's got one of the best players in the world. He is slotting himself in quite nicely in my mind.
Yeah, definitely, with not a lot of experience at this level of Counter-Strike either, which is probably what makes things slightly more impressive is how quickly he's been able to pick that up. But I mean, he's following in the footsteps of Donk, who didn't have a lot of experience at this level of Counter-Strike, but also was incredibly quick off the mark. And this is exactly how it's going to go as well for the start as they head straight up towards laneway.
Well, I mean, would you look at that on your mini-map there? The 1-4 setup for paiN on the CT side, and you got all the members of Spirit over towards this B side as well. So talk about doing your homework and coming up with the right read on the page.
That's going to be the opener, and they're just going to slap their way into this B site. It's only really DGT that's put up any sort of resistance, and the bomb plant will come in, and that is going to be paiN trained all the way through that site. They really didn't stand too much of a chance.
No, they've just walked all over them, to be completely honest with you. That is just no nonsense. Get straight on through the cave, remove the heads from the shoulders, and sit you down quite convincingly. And there's always going to be this sort of question posed on the shoulders of, Zwei coming into this roster, Tanier coming into this roster when you are, replacing Shanghai Major winners, IEM Katowice winners. Like, the names that this Spirit roster have had on their time are trophy caliber winning players. Yeah. So it is a big task, but I got to say, I mean, Zwei already won a trophy this year as well, right? So it's not like they're just falling away. It is definitely the time for them to try and find another trophy in this tournament, perhaps. And I mentioned the guy's name. He's already found a double opener.
Certainly has. And they're just going to wait out that smoke. They're not going to silly push their way through into the site. Chopper now. We'll find another, and they're just taking the time, Spirit. They don't have to do too much. They don't have to push on through the smoke. And they're just keeping it nice and clean.
Yeah, all 5 alive at the end of that one. As easy as you like it for Spirit on their adventures to start this one off. T-side of their own map pick. Always going to get you a little bit of comfort, and not too much to be seen from paiN either, right? So they're just going to have to take a knee coming in towards this round. Back on towards the pistols. Maybe you can get a good coordination to come out from these two HEs of Big Azira and Snow. But they are currently... I've just seen one miss in its landing zone, so that's rough.
Oof, need to be careful. Don't want to be overrun here by pistols. Mac-10 just goes straight on in. Respect for Chopper, just stabilising the situation. Also farming that cash as well. Brings it back to a player advantage, the way of Spirit. In nice and close to the monitor, but Shiro's just a step ahead.
Oh, bring that bomb in towards this B site. See what Davideus is going to be able to do with this Deagle. Probably feel like you got to throw caution in the wind and just get activated in here. Take a risk before NQZ can come up, try and assist you. Oh, you're just going to get pressured a little bit too much by the push of Chopper, who's farming up a storm with this Mac-10. Feels like Zwei is already aware of where NQZ is, and is just going to pre-fire him. So well done from Spirit. Another clean round calculated. And now we'll start to see what paiN have for us on this map.
Show their stripes. That's what we are expecting to see. Obviously trying to make the most as well of being on the CT side of Ancient. You kind of want to assert your dominance early on. Interested to see where they try and apply some pressure on Spirit. Early mid-connector smoke too, which is going to make things interesting. They just unload in mid. They do get that early advantage, but there's no presence from Spirit whatsoever. They're going to just try and hold the extremities. There we go. Okay, NQZ does pick up that first pick.
Noted. But does that mean that Spirit just don't want to go there or not? Because Shiro's already back on the line and the flash assists to get him a little bit more pronounced there. Meanwhile, the hunt is certainly on for paiN. They want to bring this round into their own hands. An opportunity for Zwei. And he'll just get taken out by Davideus, which means that we do get a little bit early stability in this round for paiN, as they'll fall on back with their numbers. Ooh. And also claim another one whilst they do so.
Yep. Makes the job very difficult now for Spirit. So we'll be able to reclaim the bomb, but 50 seconds left. They kind of got to step to it, shoulder to shoulder. They got eyes on at least the pushes through. They're happy to give control of mid back over to Spirit, but just save back up on the bomb site. Yeah, it's going to be a save.
Not much you can do here when you don't have anyone on paiN just giving you duels. You've got no utility really for yourselves, because an incendiary at this point in time is kind of inconsequential, right? You'll just take these rifles in towards the next round and call that paiN had a pretty good idea on what to do for the beginning of this round. The mid control and push out through Cheetah as well. So there'll be some adjustments that you're expected to come through from Spirit. You'd also assume likewise for paiN to see if they can really keep this one competitive.
Yeah, I think they've made the first strides towards making that competitive. I think firstly, they have to make Spirit respect them. And I think, it was the perfect balance of aggression across the map on the CT side. First pick always really helps as well, being able to just take Tanier out of the picture early on, remove that presence and that threat towards A site, and that allowed the rest of paiN to just focus on what was ahead of them, rather than try and anticipate the rotation.
I mean, if memory serves me right, Ancient was the very first map that Tanier played with Spirit, and it wasn't the best performance that he put up. He was negative, the team was positive, and a 13-4. But since then, he's got pretty good with the team. Blow open the smoke, see what damage you're going to be able to find right now is Snow. And he will start things off by getting Chopper out of the play. Meanwhile, the bomb goes down at that time, and you just feel like this is going to be a tricky one to navigate for Spirit to hold on through.
Pressure's on. Oh, that doesn't help the case at all. It's collected through the smoke clothesline. Zwei, that smoke's going to fade on him, but he's going to have quite a few targets ahead of him. It's all now on to Shiro, and I just don't think he can do too much from these angles.
Nah, his line's already being held as well. Meanwhile, the bomb being diffused. So mention is going to be quite difficult, right? When you've got 5 players essentially alive at that point in time, and they know the target directive is to get on in, remove you from the play and get that defuse. It's looking to be pretty smooth at the end from paiN on the retake. I mean, even Tanier on that little lopsided lurk around the map is being read on in as well. So awareness level very present for paiN, and that's enough to force Spirit to have a bit of a timeout as well.
Yeah, just want to talk things over, because I think it's safe to say they probably anticipated themselves to be off to a better start. They really haven't had any gun round success. So that's going to be the glaring issue for Spirit that they need to talk over. They need to try and break this early round dominance from paiN. They're trying to push individually and try and make these picks, and they're not working. So they just need to coordinate something a little better rather than just individualism.
Yeah. A little run boost out from DGT. Get up close and personal if you possibly can. Meanwhile, Shiro finding some damage earlier on, and it's just a barrage of utility that goes over towards DGT's location that assists him to get the first pick on towards Zwei.
It's a handy one to get. And it really locks Spirit out of a lot of options, doesn't it? Like, they've got control entirely of this B site. There's no way they can get in, and it's just going to allow them to filter numbers anywhere they want on the map. So as long as that remains in the iron grip of paiN, Spirit are going to have a really tough time. And you can even see, look at the big rotation coming through mid.
I mean, the biggest thing for me when we look at paiN currently is them needing to recognize a couple of their false steps that they have, right? Being a little bit too robotic. So the fact that we see Snow's change in towards the server, he gets a little bit more autonomous and gets a little bit more involved in some of these early game duels. That this round specifically was GGT. It's showing that paiN are, adapting, evolving a little bit. This is certainly one that if they do manage to somehow peel away with, it would be quite the upset. So getting off to the races in this first map is going to be quite crucial for them. 20 seconds to go as well, and they're still locking Spirit out from getting this bomb into this A site.
Yeah, not letting them get into A whatsoever. The smoke's going to fade here, and Bigazir is going to have big trouble on his hands, but he's able to deal with it quite easily. And that is just well played from paiN all round. Completely locking them out early on and towards the B site. Their options were so limited from there. There was the adjustment coming through from Spirit. They did try and take control of mid, but it didn't really sync up with the pressure being put on A.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we still do for the paiN fans out there. See them, keep changing what they're doing around the map, right? Make sure that there's multiple playmakers and not just be Bigazir like it previously was. Get Snow in there a little bit more. Get DGT in there a little bit more. Have some reliance on your other members to just be some good anchors or good support players as well, right? Be unpredictable, I think, is the biggest word that we can throw onto this team that for quite the longest time was still trying to kind of find, an identity for them in a almost current saturated area in Brazil Counter-Strike as well, because you got to think Legacy is starting to get up there, Fury are getting up there. Like, you're starting to see paiN fall away a bit. They need to figure out what to do to come back.
You throw MRBR in the mix as well, and you got all these teams that are on a very similar level, right? Like, they can all beat each other on any given day, and I think that's like the issue. Is that like there isn't really a super strong Brazilian CS team, and I think that's sort of it's not a new phenomenon either. We're talking maybe like the last 2 to 3 years. That's maybe even longer. That's been the case. So I think aside from bursting out of that bubble, like we know that the Brazilian teams have done really well against NA rosters, OCE rosters. They just really haven't cracked some of these CIS rosters. It's safe to say.
I mean, the biggest thing that we're going to start to see as well, right, is what Furia can do in this tournament, already getting the victory, what happens at the major around the corner, what's paiN going to be able to do in this one, how much further can Legacy start to go. Meanwhile, we flip it on over to the Spirit side, if we're just to put them in a little bit of isolation right now. Are they going to still be able to find some success in the trophies that they've been able to find, right? The Blast Bounty that they managed to get this year already, IEM Cologne, Astana, we can keep on going back to this team that did win the Shanghai Major, and we are back in towards the China domain, right? So are they going to be able to re-find some success with some new blood in towards these roster? I think this event is quite stacked with a lot of these storylines that can come through. Yeah. But those storylines don't mean anything if you're not performing in the server when it really matters on the day as well, right? Especially when you've got, the adjustment period that these teams come in towards to get in towards Chengdu. Were teams taking a break? Are they straight in towards the server like 3D Max was? I think the last series was kind of the perfect example.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these teams are trying to hit their stride at the right time ahead of the major, right? So in terms of what these rosters are hoping to achieve, this is sort of a practice run for it. They're trying to get themselves match fitness at the right level against some high quality opposition. And I think it's safe to say that Spirit are one of these teams that they have to bed this down with a new roster. They have to get this right. Tournaments like this, it's the perfect opportunity for them to try and get the high level match rep at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, I was having a couple of conversations with people before we started the day as well, right? There were some questions posed on like, who do you think the favorites are and everything. Vitality, one of the team names that was thrown up there a lot. They started to look a little bit mortal in the game against Virtus Pro earlier on, who have called up some new talent as well into that roster as well, which makes you question things a little bit. But we've seen Vitality have slow starts before and still come out in the tail end of tournaments, so I don't think that's a problem. Spirit was a name that was thrown up there in kind of that second area, just eking ahead of Falcons. So it feels like we've got a couple of teams that people are more prominently putting up as the expected teams. And with Spirit being really up there, you definitely need to see them come out with, I don't know if it's going to be the cleanest win in this series, but it needs to be like convincing enough. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's safe to say that there's a lot to consider, a lot of storylines to consider heading into this particular event, and I'm looking forward to seeing, I guess, how the Brazilians do fare. I think it's safe to say all eyes are on them.
I mean, look, for majority of fan base, right? They might not be the favorites, right? But they are dangerous. They're on the rise. They can come out with some unexpected explosive plays and some calling that might get the better of you at certain times. And it can be those small percentages that can have a massive result in these maps, in these series. So if we are seeing moments of that where certain teams cannot adjust or are slow to adjust, that's where upsets can happen. So you definitely do need to see a world in which there's that light bulb moment that would come on to start to shut them down a little bit if they're starting to get some flow. Because I still certainly feel like if you're giving this paiN roster, momentum, right? You know that someone like Snow is going to start to run away with it. Someone like Bigger Zero is still going to be level-headed in the calling as well, but still try to prop up the team to play towards the good success areas. So you need to try and rein that in a little bit if you're Spirit in this series.
Yeah, that's the beast that they have to deal with, right? I think for them now, anyway, like this short pause would probably be a good just reset for them, because they are just having that difficulty now heading into gun rounds. So if they can get themselves on the right side of I guess momentum now heading out to it, we'll see what they can do. I just feel as though they've been a little bit disjointed so far in the way that they've tried to play this T side. I think that's really had a lot of effect on them.
Well, it's also one of those things, right, that's going to be an echoed statement from the last series. You find out who the draw is, what opponent you're going up against. You've got a veto where you've got map bans. You know what they're going to pick. You can really put some pressure on the early game to come out with some anti-plays. And for paiN, that is certainly an opportunity, unless you get donked, because he's just ran at TGT with the Tech 9 for the opener. And there's another one from Sway.
Yeah, 100%. Sway and Donk have just opened things up. The perfect re-entry into the match for Spirit. Now, the question is, though, what is the adjustment going to be from paiN? I mean, you've got two players sitting in mid. You've got one player holding down cave at B. And if he's not careful, he could actually be overrun. But he does manage to get himself some space, find some breathing room. Chop has that info, though. So they're going to send numbers after him.
This would be a 5 versus 3 that Spirit have somehow managed to find, and they're not going to drop that one so far on the way that they're going. Bomb plant to go down. Tania frolicking around the map as well to see if he can catch anyone of paiN that might cross back over to this B site, but with the low HP of Davideus and NQZ just having an AWP, there's no way that you're really getting back into this one. So Team Spirit, they catch a cheeky one here.
They do. They do, and that's exactly the kind of rounds that you got to make sure you are not conceding if you are paiN. So they've let one slip. They are going to save out at least that AWP, unless they make some catastrophic errors. But they have been quite solid so far in the gun rounds. This is the first blip on the radar, and they lose to Tech 9. So obviously not ideal. But Spirit do manage to get themselves starting to Good head. That's a nasty Tech 9 frag, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it's one of those things where it's never a good feeling to be ecoed, right? I mean, the content pieces that we've seen thrown out in these breaks have been really cool to watch as well. And one of them that's just in my head at the moment is the G2 one with Taz. Don't lose ecos. paiN didn't get the memo.
Now look. Pretty simple philosophy, just don't lose.
Ooh, that is awkward as well. Hit your shots, don't miss them, because you lose your life. That's
yeah,
it.
that'll do it. Tries to get aggro on that CT side. It's a high risk play.
Yeah.
Even more high risk when you're coming up against someone with an M4 who's just strafe binking you. So to get control of the A side.
Well, do you fancy a bit of a challenge, though, early enough from DGT? Get your team to set you up with a flashbang if you possibly can, or another player to try and get the trades on out, but it just does not come into fruition for paiN, unfortunately. To Aware with crosshairs at the ready for Spirit. And now with Snow finding a bit of a gap around the map, he will be watched by Shiro if he goes into the holes, or from, I was going to say maybe Donk if he turns around, but that didn't happen. End of the day, a 1 versus 4, so you just have to call it and go for the save.
Yeah, just another save, unfortunately, for paiN. Okay. I thought he actually wasn't going to be able to save that there, but he is going to have some breathing room now. The issue for paiN is that they've tried to take some early aggression, and it hasn't come off. They're just trying to change things. The problem is, though, you can't... I feel as though Spirit are one of those teams that if you try and get aggressive on them, they respond to it. They like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. It comes down to being able to outgun your opponents and individually at some of these moments as well, right? And historically in these little head-to-heads that we have, both individually and as teams, Spirit are generally getting the better of nearly everybody. So you can't kind of take these individual moments at face value if you are paiN. And I mean, I'll highlight the big thing. If you've got that AWP on the line, you really cannot afford to be missing those shots. Or if you do, at least have a trade where you're still going to be coming out with the trade or further frags as well. Because if you're just by yourself and you drop the ball, well, you've placed it in their half of the court.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just individual stepping out without a trade opportunity. I think that's, yeah. We saw it happen with that AWP on NQZ. So they're going to have some better weapons, though, this time to try and bring the fight to Spirit. Big aggression through that Molotov. It's going to give the mid control to Spirit. So they're being pushed out.
Okay, now Snow.
He's actually responded.
Yeah, he's getting risky with it, isn't he? But a little bit of a smooch in the smoke, and he'll get taken down by Shiro, who's just watching that one like a guardian angel for his team. So now it's the opening kill the way of Spirit. And what do you look to do as paiN? Shuffle your forces to the B site, re-get that AWP on the line for yourselves. And this is where it's going to come down to some really big mid-rounding decisions. See what you're going to be able to answer back with.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, or potentially fortunately, Davideus is going to have to hold things down. That smoke's going to delay, buy some time. It's also going to force Spirit to reroute too. So, sure, I might actually be able to catch a rotator.
The thing is, DGT is aware of this at the moment, and if Donk just slides on by himself, it would be a bit rough. So, feels like the stalling that Spirit have given themselves is a bit of a problem position at the moment. Zwei will finish off DGT, but sub 30 seconds to get in towards the A site right now. Davideus needs to try and plant his foot, and he can't do that, just one. Now it's the element for Big Azir. Just absolutely not expected. Time is a problem for Spirit at the moment. They need to try and flush him out. Now they know where both of these members are, and it's just slicing and dicing around the site. Tania, can he do anything? There's no time to retrieve the bomb. He'd have to go for the hunt onto NQZ, and he just will not have the time at all. So paiN, they will come away with the round.
Yeah, big brain for Big U. Shot there, actually.
The fact that he's just figured out that that actually is the opponent to dodge your teammate as well.
Yeah. Big brain plays are what win that round, though. Just Bigger didn't need to peek once he got that kill on the bomb planter. He's just buying time for his team at that point. Spirit are just floundering because, well, they don't have the bomb down. They don't know where the second CT player is. They have to try and kill that player in the back of the site, then get the bomb down. There's just not enough time at that point. So
yeah, that's why
I think paiN have kind of like reset themselves mentally there.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit of the problem that I highlighted in the mid-rounding of that one as well, right? Where Spirit get the opener, but then they leave it a little bit too long before deciding ultimately where they want to start to pivot to, because it gives paiN that mid-rounding awareness that they used to be lacking so much of, right? They used to be that team that would struggle to find some answers in the middle of the match, in the middle of the rounds. So far, they've come out with a couple of instances where it's been pretty good. So if they can continue to find that, it can be an exposed weakness of Spirit that they're not able to adjust.
Yeah, they may be able to continue to just exploit that, right?
Oh, another push on an extremity around the map as well, right? Getting really risky with it is paiN, but it comes out with extreme reward if you can find something. Donk is low, by the way, but it doesn't bloody matter, does it?
All for nothing. The whole push, all for nothing.
Yeah, and now there's minimal utility as well for NQZ. A molly and a flash, but they just need to have their crosshairs trained and at the ready paiN, because they're getting removed from the server in this round. Little by little, Donk on 1 HP. Mind you, as the bomb goes down in a 5 versus 2 scenario, paiN are just going to have to look to run away with their tail between their legs and not tie up the scoreline here.
No, the thing with the way Donk's actually playing at the moment, he's sort of the sacrificial lamb. I mean, in a lot of these scenarios, like he's sending himself in first to be traded, not even trying to make the frag. He's actually just trying to either jump the crosshair or, you know, make some space for the rest of his teammates. So not trying to rely on his fragging prowess at the moment. And it's allowing players like Sway, it's allowing players like Shiro to actually get on in and make the pick. So he's just trying to create a lot of space for them. It's actually kind of catching paiN by surprise, I would dare say.
Yeah, there's a little element of backwards and forwards, right, where we're having these teams adjust after they lose the round, after these timeouts come through, what sort of tendencies that you're coming out with, but also just some good calls and good, adjustments in the middle of these rounds. Doesn't give a lot of comfort in being able to string too many rounds together. But at least, you know, for Spirit's side, they're in the lead. They're making a good T-half here. For paiN, there's an opportunity to try and tie things up now on the trail and still give yourself enough rope on the exchange of the halves as well to have a couple of slip-ups, because it's not something like you're 11-1, for example. Yeah,
boost over the smoke can be quite dangerous. The Spirit,
oh,
not aware of
right spot.
Perfect pick.
And with the lesser weaponry as well, something like that is exactly what you want, right? You can materialize some good value out of these submachine guns over at this B site now as well, with the stacking of numbers that you've got here for paiN. But Amadeus, though, that's so risky to go in dry when you don't know that the opponents are so there already. Sway is just removing you from the equation, left, right, and center, it feels like. But we hold for a moment. 3 versus 3. Very split duels at the moment.
Yeah, Big Azir has been the difference in quite a few of these rounds. He's stabilised things over towards B. Tanir's caught the rotation of NQZ towards that A site, and now a lot of pressure here on Bigu in this site. With an MP9, he's just trying to dance around the totem, and he can't last too long.
Yeah.
Rotation not going to arrive in time, and that's going to be the site given over to Spirit.
Yeah, he gets a bullet towards the face of Donk, but he can't finish him off, protected by the helm. And another situation where, despite the low HP, Team Spirit overwhelming paiN. You don't even really feel comfortable in saving the FAMAS, do you? So you want the AWP, and you're not going to be allowed to do so. Chopper going to shut that one down. paiN not going to be able to tie things up at the half anymore. And for Jim, I mean, I got to say, they come out with a good idea at the beginning, right? That boost is gorgeous. It's at the right spot. But then there's a couple slip-ups.
Yeah, it's the recovery, isn't it, from Spirit? They just were able to make those adjustments. They inserted the players in the right places. taiN was in a perfect spot to really just be the thorn in the side of the CT rotation. There was no avenue for paiN to rotate between the sites at that point. So really quite restricted in what they were able to do from that point onward. You're right, some good I guess some good initiative being shown early on in the round, but like they needed to try and play that AWP around the map. It's very difficult to do on a map like on Ancient. Sorry, the rotation between the sites is quite a long time.
And now, well, they're just going to try and throw rocks at Team Spirit to try and find this round, aren't they? MP9s, couple of pistols. See what you can make work at least to try and make it a 7-5 in deficit instead of an 8-4. If you're bringing lesser guns to a big boomstick battle, well, maybe you can see Shiro miss a shot and finish him off. Well, it doesn't really matter when the rest of the team is just as quick and reactive as Spirit are.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do to catch them by surprise. I mean, you can send it.
No.
You can jump on in. You can get your pogo stick out. But yeah, no idea which way to watch.
Yeah, the funny thing now as well is while taiN is all the way in the A site, there's no point in calling to everyone to come on over. The bomb isn't even in the brains of Team Spirit at the moment because it's just Amadeus to find, and they will do so quite nicely. Good tail end of the half for Team Spirit in the 8-4 lead. We'll see if paiN are going to be able to bring it back when we exchange. You'd expect a little bit more confidence for Team Spirit going into the more favored half of theirs on the CT side now, with a good lead on the half flip as well, 8-4, which does pose a bit of a problem now over towards paiN, as things may look, well, just a little bit more scarce for them as they transition to this T side.
Yeah, just a little more in the chamber, I think, for Spirit in that first half. That being said, though, there was they did struggle after winning the first 3 rounds. So I think paiN have got themselves, a window into this match. They've shown that they can definitely go toe-to-toe in those gun rounds. Obviously, it's a different beast now, though, that they are going to be on that T side. So they're really going to have to try and break through Spirit. And look, we'll just see how they go. As far as in terms of firepower, they can definitely match it. And we've been looking to some of the veterans as well. Like Bigger Zero is certainly one to watch for paiN. And I think it's going to be, again, a lot on his shoulders to try and lift this roster past, as you said, former major winners in Spirit. So, yeah, they've had some roster changes. Yeah, they brought in some fresh faces to try and bring things along. But, the core of this roster is still quite scary.
Yeah, and I mean, when I reflect on towards this one as well, right, as far as the veto is concerned, it would be, in my mind, it's always going to be like a quote-unquote one and more comfortable veto for Team Spirit, just in form and in fashion on all the maps that they've been playing. When you consider that they just have been banning Inferno for the longest time, these guys don't really play Train recently. It kind of is a situation for Team Spirit. Well, what map do you just want to play right now? You've kind of got your own pick. And then for paiN, it's also, no matter which map that they pick, it's going to probably just be a good one of Spirit's anyway. It just comes in by nature of playing tournaments and getting all of these wins and getting good numbers and reps and everything on the maps, right? So it was always going to be an uphill battle for paiN Gaming coming in towards this one, which is why I really want to just see really good decision making when it comes to these maps, really good moments where you recognize your own strengths and keep playing on towards that one. If you can slot yourself into a couple of these gaps, can you actually exercise some really good placement around them to translate that into a round victory? That's what I'm now looking for them on this T side. I'm looking for Bigger Zero's calls to come out with good fashion, and for Snow, I think, the player who's moved roles in this roster, to really start to find some good value for the opening map of this series.
Yeah, time to let it snow, hey? See what happens, though, because he's going to be called on pretty quickly into action. He's the first cab off the rank. And they're just going to just send it on through into cave. Okay, Donk doesn't face there.
Yeah. A little bit surprising, but when you do see lots of numbers around the corner, you're by yourself, it is a bit of a wise decision there. Looks like paiN are just getting ready to pop on out in towards this B site, but held at bay by some more utility. Might be a little bit difficult. Couple of mollies that they can drop down, but they need to call a bit of a disconnection and be aware of a possible flank right now, because Shiro has stuck himself into a scary spot, and Donk now is at least calling that they are moving locations themselves.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to make this work too, because they've got no utility heading into this site, so they're just going to have to do it raw dog. Oh, his way. Does pick up one, but they trade their way on in. Are they going to be able to get bomb plant down?
Yeah, Molly, Tickle, Zwei looking to do something, but the low HP players on these Spirit members means that paiN can start to get on in as well. Donk, it doesn't matter how much HP he has. This is 2 kills on 4 at the moment.
Bomb to B.
And he'll even look to still escape. Can Shiro cut them off, though? Plant to start to go down towards the CT side of things, and Shiro, he is just getting a bit of a stampede happening towards the site. Amadeus, good for the frag. So we're starting to look like this pistol will come into good fashion for paiN, unless, folks, and I say it less with maybe a bit of bated breath, because Donk is still alive, despite being on 4 HP.
Yeah, just that pivot back to B was honestly the round-winning call. Didn't want to face the 2 players when they were comfortable in that A site. I thought things were actually going to capitulate for paiN as they head on through Donut into that A site, right? Like, they had to do it without any utility whatsoever. They just spent their time and tried to bait all the utility out of the CT side, faked it over towards B, and then they just kind of had to send it on in.
Yeah, that for me, it was the flash that comes in from spawn side of things, right in the front of the temple. If that was a little bit earlier, maybe Chopper can get in there, and maybe Sway doesn't need to lose his life in the initial duel as well. I feel like that flash was a little bit too late to get the rest of the Team Spirit guys just a favorable battle. At the end of the round, though, Donk will fall away and grab that kit that was dropped on the floor to move in towards this next round. So there's that investment that they'll back in towards this new one.
CT side actually going to get very aggressive. Trying to locks pop paiN completely out of this B alleyway. No presence shown though, so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not paiN stick around and try and retake that.
Yeah.
That could go pear-shaped for them.
I will see what Sway and Shiro are going to be able to do. The extra flash here. Bait and switch moment. Can you get to near to assist in the piece as well? MP9 starts to ring on out, and it is just looking to get some good damage from Spirit to take control of a situation that they put some investments in towards. Again, it's these doors that are just providing openings. Someone wants to try and shut them down. Will it be Snow? Starts to get on in, and QZ will finish off Chopper. And maybe we get a little bit of stability for paiN back into this round now.
Yeah, they had to wait for the mid-rotation to come and get them out of jail. They weren't getting out of there anytime soon, so given a reprieve, but they're going to continue on towards this B side. That is going to be a potential flank coming through. No, he won't push. So is it going to be the timing? Are they going to take that 2-on-2 and that bomb plant goes in?
Oh, it's early. Donk, he gets all three. That is timing where you kind of catch your opponents with their pants down. That should not be happening. He saves the kit and the Kevlar from the previous round, grabs in the MP9. His team does some damage earlier on, but you kind of forget about that when Donk just swings in and destroys 3 members in the blink of an eye.
That is insane timing. Insane strafing as well. And that is a round that, look, to be honest with you, they had no business winning whatsoever. But
absolutely.
Them's the breaks.
Yep. Flips things around, doesn't it? Now it's paiN who are on the pistols. A little light investment of utility. No flashes, though, so it's going to be a couple of these dry duels that they just need to hit some stellar shots on. And when you see that Donk is in mid with Shiro, it just instills fear.
Certainly does. Oh, jeez. I thought Chopper was getting a little too excited. So they're actually backing off into the site. They're not going to overextend themselves. They've got the player advantage. Why not? You know, don't need to risk losing any weapons. So sit back on the sites, just enjoy the ride. Make sure you don't get pressed on.
Always those things, right? You don't win the 3 versus 5. You lose the 5 versus 3. You know, you put whatever numbers in those little slots, and always rings true. It's 45 seconds to go. If you are leaning towards Chopper's spot, well, he's just going to get some bonus cash. Get the AWP out a little bit earlier for Shiro on this CT side. He's going on in. And he's farming up the money. Sidearm not as good, but it doesn't matter. Zwei is there for the trade. Double digits now for Team Spirit. And we'll see what paiN have in store now.
Yeah, it's going to be back to the gun round drawing board for them, just to see whether or not they can start to etch their way into this match. And that's why you, you know, take a partner with you into scenarios like this.
Yeah.
So someone can trade you. All right, full eco coming out. paiN are just not taking any chances. They want as many buy rounds as they can at the back end of this game.
They have something in store here, Jim.
Well,
what it is.
The new face in Tania.
Yeah, he's been a little bit suppressed so far in this map, hasn't he?
Oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't get glocked. Get a little bit of assistance from the rest of your team. They come on in, and everybody wants a piece of the pie here. Easy cleanup for Team Spirit. Starts to get a little bit closed on this map now. A little bit claustrophobic if you are paiN, though. When you see 11, you can't really afford any more mistakes for that map point.
Yeah, I think Tania just got way too many dinks there.
He certainly did. But that's the thing, right? When you get to this level of Counter-Strike, and even maybe, you know, some of the other levels, players know how to shoot heads. They know how to click mouse 1. Or if you're not playing with mouse 1, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Mouse 2 for...
When you play at this level of Counter-Strike, you have bigger hitboxes because people can aim better.
Yeah, this is true.
So, like, he just got run over there.
Uh-oh.
He Sway not ready for that.
No, not at all. But that's the B site that's actually open for opportunities now, isn't it? You can get a little bit deeper. I'm very surprised there isn't a setup to already wrap around before that AWP line is on there for paiN. They are rattled and frazzled at the moment in this bomb site. There's no flashes or HEs. They're just trying to bully their way in for the plant, which they do so successfully. And little does Spirit know how low Big Uzira and DGT are. Tania spotted as well by the timing, and I mean, escape strategy is just not really there, is it? He's stuck at every escape. So instead, maybe switching towards a battle that you might win. The answer's going to be no. Davideus will find you, and there will be no 12th for Team Spirit. Nicely played by paiN, and specifically for me here, Jim, Big Uzira winning a lot of crucial fights.
It's exactly what the doctor ordered for paiN. Some medication. Able to sedate Spirit and finally get themselves into the mix now. Look, still quite a mountain for them to climb, but they did a good job of just dissecting things, totally catching Sway off guard. And they're going to try again, same thing on Tania.
Yeah, a bit faster here, and just in the flames. DGT will take the fight, a double on down. It's actually a team kill. Dunk will get some damage onto Davideus. And as quick as you look at it, it's a 3 versus 2 as the plant starts to get forced by paiN. Bit of utility to assist yourself with at the moment. Meanwhile, Chopper off yonder, waiting for him to start to come on back. How long do you look at this donut wrap if you are paiN? How long do you expect that you don't see an opponent, that they won't be coming for this wrap? There's a couple of HEs that they can throw when that bomb gets tapped at the moment. There's just that kit for Zway. It's all down to the timing, but it starts to bleed on down. You got to start to get on towards this one. Chopper now activates in the trade. The HE out from Snow. He's low. He's being held, and it does not matter there. Shiro clicks it, and he gets the job done. There is the map point for Team Spirit.
That's a safe pair of hands in Shiro hitting that shot. It's exactly what you want in that scenario. It was perfectly timed. Chopper just waited for all the attention to be on those two players in the site. They had no clue he was there. Absolutely no clue whatsoever. And so match point to Spirit. And, well, I mean, paiN Gaming are going to be able to just keep buying into these sorts of rounds, but they need to start, obviously, winning them.
Yeah.
I think the glaring issue for me may be just a lack of utility in the mid to late round.
Well, if you want to hold the utility for the mid-round, Jim, it means that you're not going to get a lot of control around the map unless Team Spirit are kind of giving it to you, right? So, see what paiN are going to be able to do.
Well, looks like they might get some control for free.
Yeah, maybe in towards mid, but it was the investment of that smoke towards the red room too, right? So you'll already see a couple of shifts around the map from Spirit. Good flash. Get the AWP on the line. Push Donk back from Donut.
Just slowly working their way through. Progression smokes in through Donut. Progression smokes into mid. They've got the pieces of the puzzle in.
Oh, that would have been a big duel for Big Uzira to win. Someone has to go and retrieve the bomb eventually. That's going to be Davideus. You want to see your team to get in towards this A side. That's a good swing from DGT. Taking Tania out of the equation. Not having a good start here in this map. The rest of his team, it's all good. Put him in the backpack just a little bit. Bomb making its merry way over here. 20 seconds to go. Imagine a world in which Donk just is able to find it first on the DGT and deny that plant from going down. Util, though, going to rain on in. Try and get that bomb in.
Oh, go straight.
Oh.
Doesn't deny it.
No, he doesn't deny it. I thought he was going to. Now it's that 2 versus 2, and around the ring of the smokes we start to go. Shiro sees the Tootsies, will decapitate Snow. And it's a battle of the AWPs. Which angle do you hold true? No smoke for Shiro. Tap on towards the bomb. He's just trying to bait NQZ in towards this one, who wants none of it. A tap again, the shot, the shoulder. He sees him, but it's just not biting it, and it doesn't matter in the end. The kill collected, but no kit. And unfortunately, you know what they say in that situation, Jim. No clue. paiN will hold on.
No round. No kit, no round. That's unfortunately the reality for them. Just playing with the time, weren't they, NQZ? It's a good round from him, actually. That first frag onto Sway really just sets things up. Just taiN, for me, also is having a little bit of trouble on this A site, and I think paiN are very happy to try and exploit that.
It may very well just be a situation currently where this map for this look of Team Spirit does have a bit of a weaker scenario for taiN, right? We see it in the game previously where they played against Inner Circle. On this one, it's the same sort of situation where he does get bullied a little bit more. It doesn't really matter when the team is still putting up a performance like this. Donk, Shiro, getting the numbers on the board. We'll see if there's going to be any answer back for paiN in this round, because it is a 3 versus 5 that they have to now try and navigate back.
Shiro just cops a grenade. Eats it up.
Yeah. Same as Chopper with a bullet to the face.
Yeah, they're going to check that angle on Sway. That's the question for me. It's kind of one and done spot, though, if you're kind of facing numbers like this.
And Davideus is low as well. Somehow manages to find that frag, so good on him. An opportunity, a way to get back in. Maybe not. Donk onto Davideus, and the easy polish off onto NQZ. 13-7. There's no walk in the park at the end of the day, but for Team Spirit, they still get the victory, as they would have expected to come into their own map pick.
Yeah, definitely there was signs there where paiN was showing they were able to bring the fight. I just think, you know, if it was just those key moments where you had individuals stepping up for Spirit, which is always seemingly the case. They were able to make things work. I did feel as though at times...
Burnt toast is what we're smelling in the server at the moment from them. Recently at EPL, of course, the loss against FaZe, a closer one, and then the opener against the Inner Circle, just could not get anything situated in that series, it felt like, or in that map specifically. The 13-4 loss when they only put up one T-sided round. They're just getting destroyed by the AWP. So if they can kind of remove that from the equation and not get forced into save situations, maybe they'll be able to do something a little bit there. But they start themselves on the CT side. That's where they've opted to. paiN on the T side. Let's see what magic they have in store for us on their own selection.
Do you like a bit of magic? It's going to be slow magic. Okay. This is poised to explode on ramp, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
We'll see.
Still comes on out. Shiro with the duel. He's just absolutely squandered. And taiN, whilst he's good for one, takes about 50 HP off his body. And while you've got a bit of this ramp control now for paiN, do you just want to exercise some speed, or do you want to play passive? You've got some damage in. You can throw some question marks over to the defensives of Spirit now and try to expose a couple gaps.
Yeah, you've got some options. Hopefully try and, you know, just string things out a little further. Sway is going to be getting a whole lot of sound info coming through. He does only find one before he's traded out quite quickly. Control of the A site firmly in the grasp of paiN. And there's nothing really Donk can do from his position, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to give it a little bit of a crack, aren't you? You were the rotator down towards that B site to see if you could cut them off before they got in after the ramp control. But now you're given a challenge for the 1 versus 3. It should be unattainable. No util, no kit. And it's time to save the Kevlar.
Yeah, slide on through to the next round, I think. Oh, we might not even be able to save the Kevlar.
Well, he might actually be able to take an exit or two. No, never mind. Oh. NQZ just first bullet accuracy with those dollies, apparently. And that's a pretty clean pistol.
Yeah, just clinical with the Julies. 2 guns, twice the accuracy. taiN just gets away with murder there too, on the utility switch out.
Yeah, imagine if he found a second one as well by the fadeaway. It looked promising to be able to do so, to be completely honest with you. But just wasn't able to do it. There is a force up on the table for Team Spirit though. Let's see what Shiro is going to be able to tickle paiN with.
Smoke's going to go down before he has the chance to get his fingers ready for the tipple.
Yep, standard wall.
Yeah,
Make sure all you future pros learn that one.
So like I say, it's just going to force attention away from outside as well for Spirit. They've got a lot of eyes here on top side.
Yeah, if you can try and funnel paiN in towards the roaring shotgun of taiN, it would be nice, but he's just not at the ready at the right spot at the moment. It might be a bit of a bloodbath come this upper site at the moment. Util starts to come on down. They're just going to disrespect the smoke and go straight on out. Good flashes with some trades to come on through. The Deagle of Donk looking to do some damage. Good for 2. Now the rest of the pistols, the rest of the members of Spirit want to get activated. There's an advantage here, Jim. And that's going to be settled in stone for just a little bit right now. NQZ and Snow. See what they can bring on back. But hello, Sunshine. Shiro, he's already rotated to the right spot. I thought he was good for that. The crouch. Lucky to get away.
Great flash. Just completely disables him. I don't know. If taiN gets something out of this, this is going to be... Oh, filthy.
I mean, Snow is about to melt. NQZ, can you be the protector at the moment for taiN? No, you cannot. Straight to the face. The trade comes out and Chopper, 1 bullet to the body needed, and it will do the job nicely. Team Spirit, they force on up and they save a bit of face in that one. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for paiN.
Yeah, Zwei just mollied out of his position. He was looking really tough to remove. That alligator coming out from taiN had some bite to it. Still the most broken shotgun in the game.
Hey, I mean, you throw it back towards a couple of the interviews that we've seen. There's a bit of a sentiment that the shotguns are being slept on. They're a bit stronger now. We see it on, Inferno with the Mag 7 earlier on.
Yep.
Now we see it with that XM. So there's a time and place.
You remember the Bank of Fnatic? Mag 7.
Yeah.
Maybe return to those dark times. We'll see.
No,
Let's make sure that they don't fall.
They stay forgotten. They stay forgotten in the past. Pistols could be what deals the decisive blow to Donk, and that's indeed what will happen. So an upgrade available for paiN to try and get some damage in towards this round. Big Azira going to drop that one over to NQZ, but if you come into the close proximity of Zwei on the MP9, who could have stayed silent for a little bit longer, might be able to have a bit of an opportunity here now if you push him on back. Oh, what?
Okay. No chance.
Oh, paiN. Just going to sit pretty yet again. HE grenade, a Big Azira. Can soften taiN up. Doesn't do too much, though. He will get finished off quite convincingly, however, and this is where we just have a bit of a rally back between the two teams on the ecos.
Yeah, this is pretty disgusting, to be honest with you, but definitely makes for exciting games.
For sure.
Yeah, nothing really for
Team
Shiro.
Spirit upgrade a little bit more so than paiN did this time, but it feels like paiN is going to be better off for it now with this extra back and forwards to come through.
And they're getting away as far away as humanly possible. I didn't think they had any business getting away with that.
Well, they shouldn't have. That's the thing. The MP9 that close should have been able to find the kill, but it just, you have a bit of Matrix in there and you dodge all the bullets, then you come away with a round. It happens.
You wouldn't back Donk to miss an AK spray like that.
Yeah, but when you've got like the smoke obscuring vision and then you've got 5 members and blah, 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 it happens.
I should get you to write my excuses.
I'll put blah, blah, blah quotes in there.
Yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada. Opportunity for paiN to establish a bit of dominance on this T side right now as well, right? Because we know that historically Spirit do look flat on this map. See what taiN can do. He's been bullied a little bit in this series so far, and it's just going to keep on happening at the moment. He needs to send some detention paiN's way.
Oh, dear. Yeah, taiN's been a bit of a punching bag, hasn't he? That's going to be the bomb plant coming in for paiN.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of confidence to go into this retake right now, is there? No kit, not a lot of utility. 4 members of paiN alive. You are just saving.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that is the smart decision. Keep that city economy alive for another round.
Well, you might not even be able to hold everything if you're shoulder checking the distance game with the MP9. It's the way it should be, and no longer for this world. And he won't even take anyone down with him.
It's kind of weird in that sense, though. Like, they all decided to 4-man save, but it was every man for himself.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to sit
it
at,
feels...
you know, a medi boxes. Well, then good luck.
A bit of disconnection at the moment, a bit of sloppiness from Spirit, but if that's what paiN are seeing, you're going to have to ride that wave and let it take you as far as you possibly can. Timeout invested from Team Spirit right now to have a chit chat to refigure things out on this CT side, because you definitely need to muster up, you know, something quite swiftly.
Yeah. These rounds can fast get away from you if you don't really have a good grasp of the gun rounds, that's for sure. But it's going to be... Okay, the money's starting to build for Spirit. I was going to say, like, taiN's just got that 5-7. No armor, though. So...
Definitely time for paiN to start to fill the piggy bank, though, that's for sure. Have as much opportunities as you want on this T side to, well, just lead at the half, get a little bit further.
Just let those wall of smokes bloom. Sure, wants the info. Does the damage.
Get the first kill. Get away with a bit of healthy HP as well. This is so risky to go through the smoke. How? Okay, I thought he saw a body and just didn't decide to shoot, and he should have probably shot to at least claim 1, because now in the equal state, it goes back into a better favor for paiN. I was going to say, if you wanted to go for that risky gambit, you'd always want a flash behind it, but there's no util here for Spirit. And then it's going to start to get overwhelmed unless Shiro can come out with a couple more head crackers like that.
Yeah. They're kind of being stalled on their approach to any of these bomb sites. Outside, unfortunately, is not a bomb site.
No, but if you get a little bit too hungry like that as Duncan. Now, Shiro, this is where your lead can just get taken away from you. These small percentages, sometimes you get hungry. There's 30 seconds to go when that duel happens, and it could have been the opportunity for Team Spirit to win this round. And, mate, it still very well may be. NQZ, quite low. Sway, gonna spot him out. Be handed the AK, knowing where DGT is, but there's no trade available. taiN has to shimmy up the vent to come on towards this site. He is just running at DGT to get the gun on out. And taiN, he had it on the silver platter. And it just falls through his hands.
Oh, that is heartbreak. Just not... It'd be moulding if you chopper.
I think you'd be molding if you were just Spirit, to be honest with you. You had every opportunity in this round. More than one, more than two. And somehow by, you know, some slip-ups of yourself and from paiN hitting some shots, they bring that back.
Yeah, they get away with that one. 4-1, paiN. Just starting to tear away. Gonna have to deal with the guns now. That's the issue.
Yeah, the AWP's out for Shiro as well. Hitting a couple body shots with the scout. See what he's going to be able to do now with the bigger boomstick. NQZ, same can be said. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a protrusion through the smoke for Snow at the moment, trying to claim all of the territory that he possibly can. Be the decisive factor. Be what the team needs. Some initial contact for him would be worth its weight in this one. That's why we see some shifts in his positions on this paiN roster to be, you know, the guy alongside Big Uzira, the new playmaker.
I do get the one pick at ramp, and they're going to fall back. Just got to regroup and allow Snow to try and create some space for them. He slipped the net.
Oh, but Shiro.
Oh, no.
No scope doesn't look as good as the last series, does it?
No.
Oh, and the tracking from that one is awful for Zwei. This round is looking quite clean from paiN. From essential beginning to end. Good trade coming out from Big Azira when DGT falls. And that kill almost feels a little bit inconsequential because you know that Chopper's not going for a retake. He's just going to try and save this A1S. And even at the ramp room, he'll get some damage from that bomb.
Yeah, we're a couple
Feel
little
good though.
Should be enough to comfortably save. That is a compromising position. paiN just continuing to.
No, I was.
Didn't save.
Yeah, he did. He did go up with it. I was second guessing myself because he's 28 HP, and I'm like, I don't really want to say he'll be okay because I think he's gonna go up with the explosion. And yeah, no, I was right.
Was it planted? Must have been planted on ladder side.
I mean, the explosion radius on this map is
it is crazy.
Too big. It's too big for what it needs to be, but it's also understandable. You want to save, you got to run to spawn. You can't stay at the ramp.
It's very inconsistent. That's
yeah.
that much is evident.
Huge opportunities though right now for paiN to try and lead at the half, or at least tie up at the half on the back of this round if they convert it into 6.
Well, we hypothesized whether or not this pick of Nuke was going to be, you know, a perceived weakness from paiN against Spirit, and I think it's actually working out that way.
Oh, DGT. Just on an island by himself, needs to be a little bit careful that he doesn't give up an opportunity for this AK to be taken. Rest of his team though, looking all good in their duels. There's that AK that will get pilfered. Bomb to eventually make its way to the A site you'd expect at this point in time, though you are investigating the lower side of the map at the moment. You are tunnel vision and QZ with that AWP, but no. Way misses that one and he knows it. The hands are thrown. That one shouldn't have happened.
With why? That's devastating, man. We've all been there. Not that it was going to be a round-winning moment, but still frustrating nonetheless. I think that it's one of those things that it could be of consequence as this series starts to get a little bit more frustrating for Spirit.
It is good to see though, meanwhile, in this round, while it is the, you know, any eco, that paiN are still taking it very, very importantly so, right? Serious, I think, is the word that I'll throw on this one, because they need to make sure that they are coming in with some really good form in towards this one as well, because it's like you look back towards the major run for them, and you know, from what Snow had discussed previously, it was like a peak performance for them, right? It was something that they needed. They're very happy with the result. They need to know how to play with the pressure of these sort of tournaments. So to be able to come in towards this one with a couple of role shifts, with a you know, with a quote unquote fresh look that they're trying to establish, if they do get whitewashed 2-0, it would be a pretty awful feeling, right? Even if it is against, you know, a massive player like Spirit. So the fact that now they'll forget about the first map, they'll take what they can from it, they come into the second and they have this lead, these are the scenarios that they can't afford to drop. This is the confidence that they need to build. This is the feeling that they need to start to replicate.
Yeah, exactly. This is the chance that they need to not squander if they're going to, you know, consider themselves to be serious contenders in, I guess, this run into the major, right? Like, this is exactly what they want at this point in time. They want to just test their metal, make sure that they're up to standard, and hopefully even, you know, take a nice big scalp with them early on in the piece. And that is exactly what Davideus has been sitting to top to do, take scalps.
Yeah, it was all a distractor at that point in time for Zwei, it feels like. The fact that he gets away with 3 there. Devastating for paiN, opting for a quick one in toward the upper A site. And as quick as it comes out, Jim, as quick as it stops, because now there's 1 minute 22 on the clock. And NQZ, he can do damage. He can play with the economy of Spirit. He can maybe, in some obscure different universe, find a 1 versus 4, which probably no one's going to find that universe, because it's either save or damage the economy of your opponents.
Yeah. He's got free reign, basically. He's already made a menace of himself. Tanir's gone down. But that's exactly the kind of round that Spirit needed to rebound. I think actually that's the kind of round Zwei needed to get his confidence back, right? Like, he's gone from having NQZ lined up. Like, he's taken his time, he's lined that shot up, and the first bullet just went to Narnia.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, you know. You always gotta try and change some things up. Meanwhile, NQZ is just protecting this presidential AWP.
AWP. Okay, AWP Force 1. Is that what you're going with?
AWP Force 1, I like it. Very much so a needed round, though, for Spirit here, for sure.
Well, quite into that one after that was all over in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, from first casualty to final, essentially, like, rounds mattering one, it's about 5 seconds.
Yeah. Zwei's just...
Yeah, individually really well done.
Yeah, sent paiN into the Shadow Realm.
Well, looking to resurrect them, though, in this round. They're still got to buy. Still got all the utility you want on the T side of a nuke for your exchange, for your blows out in outers, for your wall of smokes to come on through again. Once bitten, well, we're going to be shy from going towards the A site yet again in a rapid pace. So a little bit more defaulty on variety for paiN for the beginning here.
Just looking to make slight tweaks, slight variations. No commitment, though. As the smokes start to expire. Didn't really draw a, heavy set of eyes from Spirit just yet, but they are going to re-smoke. They are going to get themselves at least with that smoke. They should be able to get themselves quite easily down to down secret.
There'll be a bit of a challenge for Donk for the lockers at the moment to see what he can spot on out. If not, to give some awareness over towards Shiro. With an AWP down lowers as well, you definitely don't want to be holding a line by yourself. So to reposition around the map at the moment for Team Spirit, but very passively so as well, right? Not getting autonomous around the map, not trying to press the issue themselves. It's going to be quite reactive at the tail end of this round.
Yeah, he's really going for this hard angle too. Does find the first. That's going to kick paiN into gear.
He's got a molly too. He could drop that at some right timing to force the hand of paiN into a sticky spot. But right now, they're going to try and get up towards the vent where they're just not going to be able to do so. Chop good for 2 at the end. Make it a 3rd. And NQZ going to get spotted. And Tanir will just punch in those digits. Clean round for Spirit.
Yeah, definitely something they wanted, that's for sure. They needed. Especially on the back of last round, just getting 2 rounds in a row, members surviving, not having to rebuy into it, just not depleting their economy. So
I do like this though from paiN, to be honest with you. They start to really feel a couple of slips, and they need to stall any momentum that that Team Spirit can start to come out with, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what they don't want to happen. That's what they're trying to prevent. So if they can stop themselves from stalling, and maybe even losing that third round here and really letting the CT economy back in, starting to let it bloom, that's going to really help their cause in finishing out a strong half.
Because the way that I look at this as well, right? If you're able to see Spirit find their rhythm early in this tournament, I think a lot of this tournament at IEM Chengdu changes a bit. They're the kind of team that'll definitely look to turn some of the other favorites into footnotes, right? So if you're paiN, this is the moment to showcase to everybody that Team Spirit are still having a lot of gaps in their deployment, specifically with this, you know, just shake up to the roster.
Yeah. Not seeing anything just yet. The flick not quite on point. Tania again, just going to be pressed.
And he was only by himself too. It's go time for paiN. They can go down the ramp if they want, or they can hold. They can go patient, which is what they generally tend to do as well. And they just sit. See what the adjustments look like for Spirit.
Just happy to let the round breathe a little too.
Yeah. And it's good, isn't it? NQZ finds Donk. There's not a lot of utility for these teams to play with right now in a 5 versus 3 scenario. This should be a closed book case for paiN. Try and group together as a unit. Get that plant down. Maybe even force Spirit into a save. Chopper, though, we'll see what he can potentially do at this lower site at the moment, but he's just going to get surrounded at multiple spots. Snow revealing his location, and he'll just get traded out in the end. No denial onto the plant at the moment. Still looking to stick it in the open. Biggest hero clean on towards Shiro. And it just looks like Zwei was never interested anyway. So another well-played round from paiN. They will lead at the half now, no matter what.
Yeah, that tactical timeout just allowing them to perfectly orchestrate that round. And it really just was slow, methodical, and I don't think really Spirit were able to make any key adjustments there, so...
Yeah. It's always a bit of a risky scenario, by the way, if you're the sole ramp player as well, to play your headshot angle and keep re-peeking instead of trying to fall on back and, you know, go towards your teammate and Chopper, for example, or delay with some utility. Trying to take that 1vX scenario where you're already missing 2 re-peeks is kind of ill-advised, right? You get the idea. He wants to have some impact in the round. Yeah, for a new recruit to this massive roster as well, sometimes you might just need to take a bit of a step back and have a little bit more reliance on the team instead of trying to individually be the playmaker.
Well, I think the issue is too, like, paiN haven't shied away, even on Ancient as well, from trying to exploit Tania. Like, they know he's quite aggressive, and they've just really tried to capitalize on that, and it's worked for them in quite a few of these rounds. And, you know, not the first time we've seen that in this series, but it's definitely working for them. Why would they stop? Okay, that's a great pick from Shiro.
Yeah, finally an open up for Team Spirit that'll have to be respected for sure. paiN want to keep on going though, you know this. They want to send us to dust too. Now what do you look to do when you are at the deficit scenario? A stalemate in outers between Snow and Chopper. See which way that one does eventuate in toward. But for right now, Zwei will find DGT.
Chopper picks his timing perfectly.
Certainly so.
No trade. No chance.
This is just very, like, dry duels at the moment, essentially, right?
Yeah, we're into a save round for sure. That's just, yeah. Well, there's not really too many options there. As soon as you lose that player outside, it's like losing your thumb. You're not able to pincer the site. So if they do allow, you know, Snow to get a little bit more space outside, he can create more space for others. And that's where the round basically had the head cut off the snake.
You missed an opportunity to throw the head to be chopped off the snake there.
Oh, you know,
I'm getting too old.
Mince my words.
This is true. Well done from Spirit to try and at least resuscitate themselves a little bit on this CT side. Still, no matter which way you cut it, paiN looking a lot better on this map compared to Ancient. See if they're going to be able to end this one on the 8-4 half variety, or if Spirit will look to close out as close as possible. Big duel to be won and traded. Near for that one. Biggest zero. Can he find a double at close proximity? No. He'll gift over the bomb as well to Donk. And they can refresh these mollies and smokes for days in the lobby. Really force the hand of paiN to get a little bit cheeky. And Snow's location is just unexpected at this current juncture. They're buying time for him. Throwing in the flashes. Donk did not spot him. And now Snow can bring that bomb on back to Nia. Can you do anything at the moment? You need to find something. The answer's just gonna be no. And now Shiro for the 1 versus 3 will find one. Be smoked off. This HE could actually finish off NQZ, but he's gonna fall away.
Not quite.
Now what can Shiro do in a retake?
Yeah, it's difficult too with the orb. I mean, he's right on the site as the bomb goes down, so you know he's got that time, he's got that kit. Just waiting out this smoke and probably calculating, you know, whether or not it's worth it heading into it, where he's got to go, where he's got to try and find these two players.
Yeah.
And they're just going to happily sit and watch a wall. There's no round to lose.
Yeah, there's no smoke, no nothing. NQZ reroute towards heaven as well. Well done. 8-4 is the scoreline here. Likewise at the first map, but we do switch the names of who is on 8 and who is on 4. Likewise, we now switch sides. A very good opportunity right now for paiN Gaming to take their own map pick here and push us into a third for this series against Team Spirit, who are having once again some woes on this map of Nuke. Now, whether or not the exchange of these halves can reinvigorate a fire under their feet or not, that is what they have to showcase now in the server.
And I think it's safe to say that it's going to be the hot shoe shuffle all the way to the end, and they're going to be wanting to try and force that third map out of this series. If you're in paiN's position, certainly Spirit, they will want to end it here. They will want that 2-0. They will want that time off heading into the second round of play. And they're set up in this squeaky door to punish any CTs trying to make that cross into the site.
Oh, the doolies. They start to sing on through. NQZ will hold in favor for advantage. Similarly will Bigu Zero before being traded out by Donk. Very split now in the fights, and it all comes out to the man himself to see if he can come out with a 1 versus 3. And you know, in this sort of situation, paiN should be shuffling to not just give him 3 1v1s. They'll reconfirm his location, make it very difficult to try and retrieve this bomb as well. And if he does manage to do so, just make it impossible to try and close the round from there.
Well, he does manage to do the first task on the list, which is retrieve the bomb, but he's quite quickly put into the dirt after that.
Yeah, good pistol round to come through from paiN, set themselves up with a nice advantage to try and close this one. Now, I was looking back to things on the exchange, and I know that this map is not looking too good recently for the likes of Spirit, but they do move on to the T side, where it looks a little bit more worrisome compared to the CT side of paiN, where they're at least in the positive. So it sheds good light onto paiN's chances to be able to close this map.
Time to just talk it out, I think, for Spirit, though. Max chilling on the roof, just trying to lay out, you know, what's ahead of them, what next few rounds are going to consist of.
Yeah. Bit of fragging action for paiN in this sort of situation, though. Just the pistols to be presentable by Team Spirit. Everybody collected together as a unit in outers. Should be a bit of a field day when you got 3 crosshairs already primed and ready at your location. Swings on out, and it's just the complete mop up. Look at that. Easy as you like it for paiN. 10 now on the board. Couple more. Yep.
That's exactly why you keep your distance in rounds like that. Just to try and keep things nice and clean. Well, let's just see what Spirit can now go with in this next round. Where are they going to, you know, lay the first foundational pieces?
Yeah.
They're going to try the progression outside already early on. You can already see.
Makes me wonder.
Down.
Yeah.
In terms of utility, they're already just dumping utility on these choke points, stopping the fast play from being a possibility.
Well, the explosive style of Spirit is something that's always been quite a successful thing, right? So if you can stop that from happening, kind of already got a good checkbox there. Tania, meanwhile, is really low in HP. Bit brutal towards him. Meanwhile, the posturing up for Spirit before trying to get in towards this upper side. Utility starts to go on down. Donk to start off the party, but will they be able to keep on going before they cut the cake? Bigu Zero claiming 1 before being traded out. So still keeping this within the realms of possibility. Assisted flash to come on through, facilitate Snow from getting on up. An upgrade to the Galil, but thinking that there's no one around him before trying to cop that reload. Ill-advised. And with these A1Ss for paiN now, do you want to go for this retake? No kits, no util. Save these big guns to the next.
It's a perfect reply, though, from Spirit. Just first and foremost, obviously getting the bomb side and getting that bomb plant down, and you know, getting themselves on the board early on after securing guns. But But more importantly also too, like thinning the CT economy, taking 3 guns out of the equation, it's going to have good dividends being paid out in future rounds. They can continue to string rounds together. It is going to be a grind for Spirit to get themselves into these sites because, you know, the rebuys will come through. I've got no doubt that, again, they'll be looking to try and stem aggression out of Spirit early on. Just dump numbers into those dump numbers of utility into those choke points early on. Just stop the faster play. But
yeah,
what I'm liking from Spirit is just that measured control. Once, you know, that sense of utility starts to fade away.
big greens out for NQZ now. See if he's going to be able to echo out some scarcity towards the Spirit members, specifically in outers as well. If you want to toy with that one, you should know that it's going to be a possibility here and not go for any ambitious duels without smoking him off and flashing him. The smoke will start to come down. Don't you dare peek before that one. You'd be toying with death.
Oh, not quite breaking both smokes, actually.
Well, a lot of this utility becoming absent for the paiN side of things. Gonna have to rely on some good crosshair placement yourselves now. With the close proximity that Team Spirit now have towards this A site, they are looking to once again just explode in towards this top spot. Davideus and Snow to see if they're going to be able to answer with this one. Here we go. Flashes on in. Molotovs as well to flash one out. Snow gets one before ultimately falling, but Davideus behind the side. Good for one. Traded again. We keep going backwards and forwards as he caught with the utility, but do you have it any other way? More trades, and Bigu Zero now will bring it into the 1 versus 1 against Shiro. Bomb on his back. Looking for the dance. To the vent, Bigu Zero goes back on up for the duel for the right line. Can he find it? It's out for the swing, out for the peak. And Shiro just right and ready at the right spot for Spirit to double down on this T side.
Just holding his nerve in holding that line as well. He was backing the fact that there was no chance Bigu Zero was going to, you know, just double back through into T-spawn and appear out of the hut. He backed himself in, made it work. Sway has done a great deal of damage to those 2 players up heaven. Kind of really set things up on a platter. So NQZ has just got this hero AWP, man. I'm expecting a Hail Mary play coming out of that. He's 14-4. He's, you know, setting the world on fire, but he's bought out of order with the rest of the team. So
I mean,
you've got to step up here, son.
He's at the technical right location from what we've seen from Spirit so far, right? They've gone for these upper hits. That's where you want to pop the op. Make sure that that big old green is going to be able to obliterate you. Or speaking about obliteration, you don't need the AWP, do you?
Forget the big green.
Just the Deagle will do.
Forget that. So I was starting to dangerous too. That's the thing.
Yeah. Now what's the game plan look like for Spirit? A man down. This utility is just almost gone as well, by the way. A couple HEs and some flashes. You're going to have to find a couple cheeky frags or some good timing. 40 seconds to go. These are the situations where that clock can be the 6th man of your opponent's execution on towards Snow, though. And now you go into the clutches of NQZ. The AWP revealed. A second shot to come on out. He's doing it, lads. He's doing it. An opportunity for another, but it does get shut down by Shiro. Now, in the 2 versus 2, that bomb needs to be retrieved. And if you drop down that vent, Bigu Zero would have been waiting, but he comes up a little bit too premature. And Davideus just can't get it done in the end. An opportunity that would have been possible for paiN does get shut down as Team Spirit will continue on.
Yeah, Bigu Zero obviously thought he had a better timing than what happened. He just sort of arrived, you know, at a room on fire. Could have really been a real problem for Spirit had he just held in vent a little longer. All right. NQZ manages to get another AWP in his hands.
Yeah, not a lot of utility behind this one for paiN though. Very light. No kits either. So if there's a plant scenario, keep an eye on what that could come out to be. Big amount of damage on Donk first and foremost though. And they're even going to finish the double out. Donk and Shiro down for the count. And that just immediately puts a hamper on this round.
Yeah, they've very quickly gone behind the 8-ball in this round. And even then, just trading out 1 for 1. That's not going to work in your favour. 4v2. Chopper and Tania. If there was ever a time for Tania to redeem himself after what's been, you know, a relatively tough series for him, it would be now. But I just don't think that there's even much for them to work with. They are quite split at this point in time.
Yeah, you're definitely looking for a misstep from somebody on paiN at the moment. Gun barrel shouldered out from Chopper. Util just cementing location. Trying to draw attention away from Tania to try and sneak on in, but he's just getting caught out by Bigger Zero in the off angle. And for Chopper, there's not much you're going to be able to do at the moment. So fly away. Save this AK. And look to do it again in the next round. You've got a bit of cash that you're going to be able to splash on in. It's nothing too handsome though. paiN will be finding 11 now.
Yeah, it's kind of ground to a halt in this round, hasn't it, for Spirit? They've just been completely devastated by the the double concentration of Snow and Big Zero in smoke.
Yeah, I mean this is the big thing, isn't it? Right, coming in towards this one with the adjustments that that paiN have made, you know, in recent history, right? Trying to activate Snow a little bit more, shifting on where he's going to be playing around the maps. They want him to be the new guy to come in towards this roster to really get the fragging happening, to start these duels, to start them off on the right foot. DGT's had a couple of step-up moments as well in this one too, don't forget. But for Big Zero to have a little bit more reliance upon the team where needed as well is going to be very positive for paiN. Meanwhile, when I look towards Team Spirit and I look towards this map and I look towards their veto, I kind of throw the question out there. This map of Nuke is not looking too good. Is it
to crash off?
Time to toy with the idea of Inferno after 4 years of banning?
I don't think so. They're likely going to pivot to another map. It'll likely be something completely different. So Shiro tries to use his spawn to his advantage, doesn't quite find the pick that he wanted, but Donk actually gets very aggressive.
Yeah. Take matters into his own hands. Need to see a big opener. But you need to see it convert into a round, more importantly for Spirit as well, because this is where paiN can start to taste a bit of victory on their own map point. If you go towards the ramp room, you do have to contend with NQZ on this AWP lane. He's generally good for one. Made it out by the shoulder. He's going to stick around to try and have at it again. They're already overwhelming him. An AWP upgrade now for Team Spirit. They still have their eyes on the prize to get this B site to their own sway. Not known for his AWPing, but can certainly come out with some stellar shots. And this round is just done.
A huge recovery. That's insanely cool. To be fair, some very uncharacteristic misses from NQZ, which made, which sort of set that up, didn't it? Oh, Snow's not even going to get down the ladder. He's had his legs chopped from underneath him.
There we go. Pick up all those rifles as well for Team Spirit. It's not the rush in towards the A site that you tend to see from them, but the B site one, looks just as good. Timeout for paiN as well. Exercise what you can to try to close out this map, because it's one of the best opportunities that you've got.
Yeah, I just don't think, an opportunity like this in a series against Spirit comes about too often. So it's about converting what they can. They're going to be able to buy into this round, so it's about trying to contend with these individual peaks. What we've seen actually is like these microaggressions early on from Spirit, which have actually been, you know, forging some opening picks. So the opening duels are starting to fall the way of Spirit, which is just putting okay, right behind the 8 ball early. Okay, AWP left in spawn, not needed for this round.
Risky gambit, going all in. Do the math in the timeout. You get the victory here, you get the 12, you get the loss. Well, you'll have a rifles in your back pocket again soon. You give Team Spirit an inch, they're probably going to start to take a mile, even if this is not a good map, even if there's not a lot of, you know, positivity at the moment in KD. Little by little, they can still formulate some good things. Wall of smokes to cross over. No real contest at the moment from paiN as well. A lot for Bigger Zero to do. If there's any challenge thrown his way, similarly can be said for really anyone around the map at the moment for paiN.
Well, the issue is for paiN is they're going to lack a lot of utility in this late round.
Well, everything. They got none.
Yeah, they're lacking it. So this is going to be tense for them. Just going to have to fight their way through.
Well, Bigger Zero just going to get his head removed. There's Donk. But he gets traded out by Davideus, looking for more. The dink the difference on the A1S and the AK. But now DGT, 20 seconds to do. What are you going to be able to do, fella? You and Snow to take the duel, to get the trades. Can't get the first on Sway, who's low, starting to step in to where they needed him. And now Snow, even if he goes in towards outers, he's going to be kept at check by Tania, who is at a single digit. And that will get the better of him. There's a weapon to be retrieved here for Snow. But what do you want to try and do with it? You forced into this round as paiN. I think the prize of holding onto this gun is going to outweigh the damage that you can deliver.
Certainly agree with that. I don't think there's any world in which he's going to try and even go for damage. He just wants to try and recover what is left of any CT economy. Yeah, sure, like the loss bonus is going to cover some, but it's just not going to be enough to, you know, put anything significant on the plate.
Yeah. It'd definitely be such a tease at the moment right now if paiN are able to get up to 11 and not close it with some really smart decisions that they've been making on this map so far. And a couple of slip-up moments from Spirit that definitely extends the situation as well. Now they're looking to achieve double digits before seeing the weaponry back in the possession of paiN.
Well, they better not falter. So the off-angle boost to try and utilize this solo M4 that they've got.
Yeah, it's cheeky and I like it as well. It's at the right spot. It's a great idea, but there's going to be no takers for Team Spirit's side.
Ooh.
Oh, that's such a sharp shot. And it's a better second one. Oh my, when you need something stellar to come out. DGT putting up some numbers. Now trying to get the AK. Given the time to equip it as well. Tania faltering again. And now it's Shiro and Donk. I'll put a bit of a pause in this one because these are two very, very sharp players. Cannot be understated. The trophies and MVPs found between them. So they'll have a bit of a reset and a shuffle into the round. NQZ and Snow to separate. Would love an upgrade, but Snow on the off angle looking the wrong way. Cannot allocate the shots to Shiro. And now it's all on to NQZ. Wrapping around the ramp. Can pick up a weapon.
He's going to have a selection heading into ramp. I dare say, if I'm in his scenario, I just take that AWP and I just try and save.
Would it have been spotted? It will.
Oh, the timing.
Yep. Shiro had the read, mate. He knew what was happening. The weapons were there. It's take the gun and retake, or it's grab the AWP. It's just really good awareness. And, I mean, hard to be done by in that one for DGT as well, right? You get 3 kills.
Yeah.
And then Donk and Shiro bring it back. If Snow gets one before he falls, that's go time. That's retake time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in that round, DGT stands for damn good try.
True.
Didn't quite get it done.
And good trigger as well, because, you know, good shots.
True. Very true. But Spirit have now brought up double digits. Big Zero and the rest of paiN have just been sitting on, 11 rounds for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Starting to, no doubt, sweat the scenario.
But this is what they've been waiting for, right? They had that timeout earlier. They made the decision to force. They recognize if it did go their way, they probably close the map. And if they don't, they'll have another buy before equalization. And now they're at that worse state of the decision. Big fight in outers as well. Had you hung around a little bit longer as NQZ, would have found a potential big opener. Now you've revealed yourself.
Yeah, I don't think Donk will continue to face just there. We're happy to hold the off angle on top of red. Slightly changing things up here, DGT. Maybe trying to replicate some of the heroics of last round, but a lot of pressure is going to start to filter his way.
Oh, yeah. All he needs to see is a foot out of place at the moment to come up with the goods. NQZ, though, getting the feeling that he needs a bit of assistance over towards the ramp room. Dodge the util. No, actually, DGT looking for the lineup. With the AWPer falling, communicate at least that there's a lot of bodies that could be wrapping towards this B site. And now we start to spread a little bit thin around the map. And I'm not talking about paiN, I'm talking about Spirit. You've got a lot of players that are disconnected with opportunities to find stuff. And Big Goozera, he's going to be early to this ramp wrap.
Yeah, DGT's managed to actually slip the net, get away, not for long. And now Big Goozera is starting to be activated.
Yeah, 3 versus 3. 20 seconds to get this bomb established as well. Starts to go on down. Important hold right now that needs to come through. Donk to deliver that blow towards Snow. And now it's all from ramp to mount this retake. Big Zero with the AWP. It's not the weapon that you go in with in these scenarios. So it's already going for the save call. There's no kit. There's a bit of utility. It gets a little bit more difficult when you don't have a smoke to layer out to start to establish the retake. And just by deficit, not able to do it. Now Donk trying to remove these weapons from your hands as well to put you 6 feet under. It won't happen. You will look to hold on to this AWP to go again, but we are going to end up tied up here now on Nuke.
Yeah, that's exactly what Spirit were playing for. And look, they did it the long way. They did it the hard way. They managed to break their way through this round. I think DGT maybe a little hard done by there. Probably deserved the 2 frags, but
he has found himself at the right spot in a couple of these moments. And I just feel like with that Deagle round and with that one there, it's the scenarios where you feel like you've done enough. You're there at the right spot. You've done what's needed. And sometimes it slips. Interference that you didn't have a hand in.
That's an example right there of, planning the perfect picnic, but not being able to predict the weather.
Yep.
Did everything right. Just the cards did not fall his way.
Well, thought you might go to the 3rd map. We still might.
They're going to move on.
But Team Secret are certainly giving this one a good crack on a map that has not historically looked too good for them. They know that there's been a little bit of a cross from Donkin towards the secret stairs. The awareness level is there for paiN.
Looks like the pressure.
What else can you do?
I was going to say, they're going to go back to what's been working for them. Pressure towards ramp.
Oh, and DGT can't find one this time. NQZ mollied off as well. This is the way that you want to see things go for Team Spirit to gain superiority of the ramp down towards this B site. Remember, Donk been laying a couple of seeds in towards these tunnels as well to just make sure that there's a bit of a pincer maneuver if needed. Decisions to be made here right now for paiN. Do you give up this retake to go again to push to OT? There's no way you're getting down in a clean scenario in a 4 versus 5 to that B side. You have to save.
Yeah, it's not the first time they've done it either. They've had to make these tough calls, but give yourself the best possible opportunity. Oh, Chopper's going to give himself the best possible opportunity.
That's the AWP.
The stats rolling his way. Yeah, it's honestly, there was one point there where NQZ was 14-4. He hasn't had as much impact in his last few rounds. Chopper's just going to continue to try and press the cause, but I think we go back to like that ramp round, right, where he had a few shots there. He had been hitting,
yeah,
and he didn't quite get them off. And that's really, for me, been the turning point in the game, unfortunately. Yes, Spirit have been doing some wondrous things. They've actually been trying to target ramp, really been dissecting this crossfire between DGT and NQZ. And it's been very difficult for paiN to try and readjust as a result.
Yep. It's 8-1 these last 9 rounds towards the T side of Spirit's Nuke. There's no AWP currently either for paiN, with the efforts of Chopper that remove that at the tail end of the last round. The utility starts to go down for paiN 2 here.
Starts to dwindle.
Snow going for these jump spots.
Yeah, they're kind of ready for this though.
Yeah. But is it all a ruse, though? That's the big thing at the moment. You're still kind of posturing a couple of members up at this top site, and Davideus is thinking better of going for the refight. It's awareness that is good, though, because Big Uzira repositions to find the timing. Or is it? No. Zwei has just got in at the right timing. The trades are there. Now you're trying to hold down towards this B site where the trades still come out, but it's not like we've only got 10 seconds to go. There's enough time to settle a little bit and simmer. And that is a huge duel for Shiro to be able to win. The bomb now to make its merry way down as Tania gets rid of Davideus. NQZ, the last soldier for paiN to try and push them to OT on a map that they have looked so good on until Spirit really just started to wake up. 8 rounds on this T side that they have looked good on to close. And NQZ now, a 1 versus 2, stretches out, can't get it done. 13-11, Team Spirit do it. They were 4 losses in a row on this map, but they've figured out what they needed to do to get it over the line. In this series, they will win 2-0.
And I think if you're on paiN's side of things, there's got to be just so many questions you're asking right now. How do we let that slip? How do we let them back into these rounds? How did Spirit find a way back in? We thought we picked the right map. We thought we'd